Hi. As you all know that we are dealing with deviations from Mendelian principles, in which we have already completed incomplete dominance, codominance, polygenic inheritance, pleiotropy, and now a new aspect termed epistasis. Epistasis. Okay, now what is this epistasis? Epistasis literally means standing on and masking it. Okay, so here this epistasis is interaction between two genes. So far we have learned that dominance is interaction between two alleles of a gene where one allele is masking the other one. So when one allele is masking the other one, that is dominance. But when one gene is masking the other one, or one gene is interacting with the other so that one gene is dominating the other, you call that gene interaction as epistasis. I hope it is clear. If it is allelic interaction, one dominating the other, it is dominance. If it is gene interaction, one dominating the other, it is epistasis. So let us come to what epistasis actually means. It is an interaction between two genes. So then what happens? Here I have written in bracket non-allelic genes. This I will explain to you later. Now understand, an interaction between two genes at different loci. I have this is already explained in the previous video, the meaning of the term loci in detail, where I have given you many questions that can be asked based on Mendelian principles. That video itself is devoted for that. Many questions, probable questions that can be asked and how to answer it, how to find out the solution for it. In that I have explained the term loci. So if you want to go through those things, please subscribe my channel and don't miss any videos. Fine. Now, what is loci in simple sense? Loci means a location on the chromosome. Each gene is located on a particular area on a chromosome, and those areas on the chromosome where genes are located are called as loci. So here interaction is between two genes, and where these genes are on two different loci, where the expression of one gene is affected or masked by the other. The expression of one gene is affected or it is masked. Masked means it is actually it is hidden out or it is dominating the other one. So what is epistasis? Epistasis is interaction between two genes. Where are these two genes? In two different loci, and what happens as a result of this? The expression of one gene is affected or it is masked by the other gene. Now coming to the term non-allelic genes. You know, when there are two genes, one gene has got two alleles. Similarly, another gene will also have two alleles. So what about the alleles of these two genes? They are non-allelic. Okay, they are non-allelic. They are different. For example, take here, I have taken here skin pigmentation in dogs. So skin pigmentation is produced by a gene, and this pigments that are produced, whether it has to be deposited or not, is controlled by another gene. Deposition is controlled by another gene. So skin pigmentation in dogs is produced by one gene, and its deposition is controlled by another gene. Production by one gene, deposition by another gene. So there are two genes, and these two genes are present in two different parts of a chromosome. Okay, and see the alleles of this gene, capital B, small b, these are the alleles. The alleles of the other gene are capital E and small e. So these two alleles, if you take, they are non-allelic or they are of different genes. So you call them as non-allelic genes. That is what is written here. So if you come across this term non-allelic genes, just understand it is for different genes. So sometimes in the question paper, this term will be there, non-allelic genes. So don't get confused there. Non-allelic genes simply means two different genes. That's it. Okay. So an interaction between two genes at different loci where the expression of one gene is affected by the other is epistasis. So with this example, I think it will be more clear. So I've already told you, here we have taken the example of skin pigmentation in dogs, which is produced by one gene, and the pigment that is produced, whether it has to be deposited on the dog's body or not, is decided by another gene. So let us look one by one. Production by a gene. It has got two alleles, capital B, small b. If it is homozygous, it will produce black color. If it is homozygous for recessive, it will produce brown color. If it is heterozygous, again black color. So this clearly indicates that capital B is dominant over small b, or black color is dominant over brown color. Fine. So this is production, color production. Now next one, deposition. Whether this color has to be deposited or not. This is decided by another set of gene having another alleles capital E and small e. If both are dominant, capital E, then definitely whatever color is produced here, whether it is black or brown, will be deposited in the body of the dog. But if it is recessive, whatever color is produced, it will not be deposited and the dog will have a yellowish shade, neither brown nor black. But if it is heterozygous, naturally it will be deposited because capital E is dominant over small e. So here, two genes are deciding the skin pigmentation of dog, or two genes are interacting for the skin pigmentation of dog. Where which gene is affecting the other gene? The deposition gene. This gene is actually affecting the expression of the skin pigmentation production gene. How? Even if the colors are produced, if this gene is not there, then the produced color will not be deposited. So the color production gene is affected by the color deposition gene. I hope this part is clear. If it is clear, let's move forward. See, here I have written some 6 to 7 combinations of these alleles. Let us take a look one by one. Here, all the alleles are dominant. So capital B is dominant, so it will have a black color. Capital E is also there, so it will be deposited. So the dog will finally have a black color skin pigmentation. Got it? Now next. Capital B is there. Fine. If capital B is there, it has to produce a black color. But what about the deposition gene? It is recessive. So, if it is recessive, the pigment will not be deposited. So, even if capital B is there, the dog will not have a black color. It is producing but not getting deposited. So, yellow tinge. So here it is clear, no? Epistasis, the small e, though it is recessive, it is standing over capital B, standing over, that is epistasis. One gene is standing over the other and masking the expression of the other gene. So it is not the interaction between alleles but between genes. Okay, that is epistasis. Now next one, capital B, capital E, small e. Here, B, this is dominant. At least one capital E is dominant, so deposition will take place. If it is heterozygous also, it will get deposited. So the deposition will take place, so skin color will be black. Now so far we have taken with dominant capital B. Let us also take a look at small b, what will be its effect. Small b is responsible for which color? Brown color. So along with small b, there should be capital E, only then the brown color will be deposited. So small b, capital E, progeny will have a brown color. Small b, small e. Everything is recessive. Brown is there, but capital E is not there. So deposition will not take place. It will have what color? Right, yellow color, because there is no deposition. Next, small b is there. So brown color should be there. But let us see whether the other gene is allowing it. Yes, of course. It is having a capital E, so it is allowing. So naturally it will have a brown color. Good. So now I think you are getting one by one. This is the last combination. All of them I have put it as heterozygous. Capital B, small b, capital E, small e. So if it's capital B and small b are coming together, which one is dominant? Right. Capital B is dominant. Okay. So it will have a black color. But whether it is allowed by the other one, yes, capital E is there. So it will finally, the color of the dog will be black. So far we have completed the principle or the concept of epistasis based on the example of skin pigmentation in dogs, where, let's just recap, it is interaction between two genes where one gene is affecting the expression of the other gene, and where are the two genes present? They are present at two different loci. Okay, so here you can also write interaction between two alleles, two non-allelic genes, where these alleles are at different loci and the expression of one allele is masked by the other. But these alleles should be of which one? These alleles should be of two different genes. So far we have completed all the different deviations from Mendelian genetics. We have dealt with incomplete dominance. We have completed with codominance, where I have told you regarding multiple allelism as well. We have completed with polygenic inheritance, pleiotropy, and now epistasis. In epistasis, one thing you have to be very careful. See, they are between two different genes. It is equivalent to our dihybrid cross, where we take two different genes responsible for two different characters. And there I have told you, when you take a dihybrid cross, you are getting the ratio 9:3:3:1 as a result of independent assortment. In epistasis also, there happens independent assortment. Why? Because they are different locations. Okay, so independent assortment, that law is true here for epistasis also. But the ratio 9:3:3:1 is not true here. So that is, if you can compare and contrast between Mendel's law and epistasis, you can put it in this way, that epistasis is interaction between two genes. In dihybrid cross also, or the dihybrid cross also is interaction between two genes. So that is comparison. Epistasis and dihybrid cross is showing interaction between two genes at two different loci. So they will be independently assorted. So law of independent assortment is same in both the cases. But what is different? The ratios are different. Ratios you will not get here, because here both the genes are not getting expressed equally, but one is masking the other one. So ratios will be different, but the law applies here as well. I hope parts are clear, and if you want to know more on this aspect, please do subscribe the channel, watch the videos, and do write your comments, your suggestions, so that we can improve together. Thank you for now.